The Leningrad region is the nearest Russian region to the EU, bordering Finland and Estonia.
In a little over 3 hours, the Allegro Express train takes you from Helsinki to St. Petersburg. The Leningrad region,
embracing the city of St. Petersburg, is rich in historical, cultural, and natural sites. Besides, it boasts a wide range of hotels and countryside recreation facilities to get away from the noisy city life. We are heading off towards the Finnish border from St. Petersburg to Vyborg, taking in some interesting spots along the way.
a mere half hour from St. Petersburg, takes you to a special place for high-profile meetings and events, and comfortable leisure, with a golf course at its heart.
The Mill Creek Club invites you to practice your aim and participate in professional tournaments.
This golf course utilizes the exclusive kaleidoscope golf technology, and, in contrast to a regular course, it offers 7 routes to play. The local clubhouse will treat you to a cup of coffee on their terrace and gastronomical masterpieces from their chef. The exclusive high-priority right to use services of the Mill Creek Club also grants accommodation in its 5-star hotel. These residences have been created for the true connoisseurs of high-class recreation amidst the pure natural beauty. The club beach can be both relaxing and fun. The water temperature in the pools is always comfortable, and if you are into sports, there are soccer, jet skis, wakeboards, windsurfboards, kites, supboards. All activities are supervised by experienced instructors. Ohta Park Resort is only 10 kilometers away from St. Petersburg, surrounded by the wilderness of the Karelian Isthmus. Across the park, pine groves alternate with well-improved and landscaped zones.
The popular resort develops 15 rest destinations for adults and children. Its territory is quite large, so we'll use a vehicle to observe it.
All footpaths are prepared for cycling and other personal mobility means. The high rope course offers 10 routes of varying complexity, and the array of open-air, heated swimming pools is comfortable any season.
Thanks to a special technology, this slopes mid-skis in winter earlier than other resorts. The snowy expanses of Ohta Park offer skis, skates, donut tubes, sledges, and other entertainments.
The cozy, spacious, and luxurious cottages and hotel suites are suitable for groups large and small, as well as for families with children. And while you are riding down the slopes or relaxing in the spa and sauna complex, professional play assistants will make sure your kids are having fun in the children's center. The roomy restaurant on a forest riverbank offers high cuisine and picturesque landscapes. Dive into the world of wild nature in the Lindulovskaya Grove Wildlife Refuge. This unique spot is the oldest Russian and European larch tree plantation. The initial planting occurred already in the mid-18th century. Legends have it that the spot was chosen by no other than Peter the Great himself, with the purpose to grow mast timber. Throughout the centuries, the Lindulovskaya Grove has always remained the research and development base of the Forest Engineering Academy and St. Petersburg University. Today, it is also included on the World Heritage List of UNESCO. At present, it is a specially protected natural preserve. There are still around 4,000 species of older trees. These larches are up to 50 meters tall. Footpaths have also been laid out across the area, and the information boards along the routes introduce the visitors to the local inhabitants of the grove. About halfway from St. Petersburg to Vyborg, you are most welcome to stop by Veresk Eco Park and visit their Forest Lakeshore restaurant. After that, you could take a stroll in the pines and drink in the surroundings of the place. This masterpiece of modern woodwork architecture is but one example. This chapel was erected according to the old tradition, and the axe was the only tool used. Here and there, you'll find peculiar art forms organically woven into the fabric of the local landscape.
Everything is surprisingly harmonious in this place. The author's cuisine is complemented by the magnificent natural views.
You can stay for some fishing, or a game of volleyball, or a fiery sunset. And spend the night by the lake in the pristine nature of Tapiola Country Club. There are hotel suites and cottages available here. At that, all accommodation here corresponds to the pan-European 5-star class.
Each cottage has its own barbecue area and resting place. And in the Russian house, there is a real Russian stove.
Day and night, the Russian stove will give you warmth and savory food. The well-developed infrastructure at Tapiola includes a conference room and a network of forest footpaths. There is also a small trout farm here, supplying the local restaurant. Head to the docks to go fishing or take a boat tour. There is a spa center with a mini aqua park, a hammam and a Finnish sauna, as well as a Russian steam house on the lake shore.
Ooh, it's too hot in here. Traditionally, it is heated up to 100 degrees, and after that, you can dive into the forest-like cool water with great pleasure.
We are heading to Viborg to build on our cultural program. It is a 20-minute ride from Tapiola to Viborg. Viborg is only 30 kilometers off the Finnish border and 60 kilometers to Lappeenranta, which is an hour by car. It will take 2 hours and 20 minutes to get to Viborg from Helsinki on board Allegro, and 1 hour and 15 minutes from St. Petersburg on board Express Electromotive Lastichka. Viborg is an heir to Swedish, Finnish, and Russian cultural traditions. This town is truly stunning in the number and diversity of its historical and cultural sites. There is the Hermitage too. It is located on top the Panterlax Bastion, which in Swedish stands for Shield of the Bay. In the Middle Ages, the borders of Viborg were protected by the Horned Fortress, and this bastion was the very horn protruding out from the fortress. Time passed, the town grew, and the defensive significance of the fortress decreased. In the 19th century, it was razed, and the bastion was preserved as a historical landmark. Later on, it served as a foundation for the Museum of Arts. Today, it hosts guided tours, exhibitions of the Hermitage, and other educational programs. The adjacent territory outdoors is decorated with an alley of sculptures.
You can get all information about the museums and cultural events, what, where and when happens in the Touristic Informational Center located in one of the oldest buildings in Viborg. Centuries ago, House of the Merchant Guild served as a business center.
Where to eat and where to stay, opening hours and price tags, locations and ways to get to them, traditional museums and unique events of the coming days alike, they know it all at the Info Center. Its staff will help you lay out an individual program of your stay, catering to your very interests. One of the centers of cultural life in town, and the place regularly hosting international events, is the Library of Alvar Aalto. Roughly 100 years ago, this building became an architectural sensation, and it still serves as a benchmark for library facilities. The technical innovations of architect and designer Alvar Aalto have since been integral to our daily lives and textbooks on architecture. The conference room of the library is famous for its wave-shaped ceiling. Microphones were a rarity in Alto's days, and thus he designed this ceiling to amplify the sound in the room. In the 19th century, this room served as an assembly hall, a lecturing auditorium, and even a dance floor. Thus, it required a large seating capacity. However, the seats needed to be taken out for dance parties. And so the economical Stool 60 model was born, where Alto, for the first time in history, utilized the technology we are so familiar with today, molded plywood posts. The architect modeled 57 ceiling windows to illuminate the reading room with the natural light.
The library is located in the Central Park. The park was made on the model of the one in Helsinki, named Esplanade.
Already back then, it was a trendy leisure spot favored by the townsfolk. The park restaurant was also vastly popular.
The modern restaurant Espile is also located on a historical site.
The first and second floors of the restaurant have several roomy spaces. Any spot here grants a view of the park and its flower beds. Here, you can order classical European cuisine or request the Leningrad specials menu. If you already have a place to stay, linger on and listen to some live music. The oldest hotel in town, Viborg, sits right across the street from the park restaurant. This 7-storied complex combines architectural solutions of 20th century Finnish designers and the comfort of the 21st century. Its 90 rooms span several categories, standard to luxe. The loyalty program offers cost-effective group bookings. Included with the rooms is the breakfast buffet. The restaurant hall seats 90 people, and the cozy banquet room can accommodate 25 guests. You do not have to book a room in the hotel to come here for a business lunch, in between guided tours, for instance. The complex is also home to a lobby bar, a sauna, and a massage parlor. If you want to stay away from the hustle and bustle of downtown, welcome to the Northern Crown Hotel. The recent renovation has taken care of the engineering infrastructure in the 70 economy, standard, and comfort rooms. The heating system here is independent from the town grid and allows you to adjust the temperature to your needs. Each room has been designed for 2 persons, with the option of additional bedding. The aesthetic concept of the hotel encapsulates the visitor into the Nordic Europe atmosphere. The room design here is both laconic, modern, and comfortable. The 110 square meter conference facility at the hotel is equipped with furniture and gadgets to host events of up to 40 people. Hotel Druzhba is situated on the picturesque bay shore. Conveniently, it rests away from the busy streets, and yet it still is located in the town's center. 102 rooms in 4 categories can accommodate over 200 guests at a time. The suite windows offer a scenic panorama of the town and its historical landmarks. There are 5 restaurants in the hotel's territory. The breakfast buffet is included in the stay. For those keen on saunas, the service is available right at the hotel. Next to the hotel, there is a spacious guarded car parking, which, in the nearest future, is to receive its charging stations for electric cars. In the heart of the historical part of town, you can find the Victoria Hotel and Business Center. It is a modern, 7-story complex that offers 60 comfortable rooms in 5 categories. A fully equipped, large conference area allows holding events for up to 150 participants simultaneously, or up to 200 if they are divided into smaller groups. Free access to the fitness club is provided for all hotel guests. A Russian steam room, a Finnish sauna, and a Turkish hammam are available in the hotel's bathing complex. You can even go on a space trip while staying here. The Space Museum, located in the hotel, has some curious exhibits. The restaurant on the first floor offers buffet breakfasts and provides a great dining experience. On the restaurant terrace, on the 7th floor, you can enjoy the view of the historical town, which is especially charming at sunset.
Having gained strength, we can continue our active recreation. A city surrounded by water allows us to see its sights from an unusual angle, and the touristic club Nerpa Kayak invites us for a fascinating and breathtaking water trip. And right now, we're going to see unique Monrepos Park.
As regards water tours, the tourist club Nerpa Kayak has boats specially designed to accommodate inexperienced kayakers. They are comfortable and safe for trips with children or even lapdogs. The experienced instructors run the necessary inductions and supervise the trips. The trip to Monrepos Park, a picnic on the island, and the trip back will take 4 hours. Indeed, from the town center you can quickly get to the park by road or even on foot, thus saving yourself some more time at the destination to observe the mingling epochs and cultural traditions, from antiquity to the epos of Kalevala. The name of the park is French for My Repose. The park flourished in the 18th and 19th centuries when president of the St. Petersburg Academy of Sciences, Ludwig Heinrich von Nicolai, purchased the estate. The park was landscaped by an arborist from Pomerania, artists from Venice and Germany, English and French architects, and Danish and Finnish sculptors. But the chief elements are the water and the rocks. They tie together every landscape here. Many of them were designed primarily to be perceived reflected off the unruffled water.
The park occupies enormous territory, and from the water we observe beautiful coastline and harmoniously located buildings on it. You definitely need to visit this park despite of the season, because every time of year it impresses with its view of almost everyone.
Let us admire its main landmark, the castle. Founded in the late 13th century by the Swedes, it is a unique monument of medieval fortification architecture for the Leningrad region. Today, the entrance to Castle Island is free. The main building of the castle hosts a museum, and the castle itself is the cultural heart of town. It is home to concerts, festivals, and medieval nightly tournaments. Let us circle the castle on water.
From this angle we understand the invincibility of the castle, and just look at the citadel that stands here for more than 700 years.
The Tower of St. Olaf is the town symbol and simultaneously the tallest structure in Viborg. Its sightseeing platform offers an aerial view into the depths of the centuries.
Right now we are located on the Town Hall Square, the oldest square in Viborg. In the medieval times, this place was a merchant place and moreover a place for celebrations. Also, here we can see a monument of Torgils Knudsen, a person who is supposed to establish the castle.
The Town Hall Square is one of the prettiest spots in Viborg. It has retained its unaltered looks practically since the 17th century, although its monument to Swedish Marshal Torgils Knudsen was placed here only in the beginning of the last century. Krepostnaya, or Fortress Street, is the longest in town, running its course from the castle, across the square, and into the historical part of town. It is intersected by 22 other streets.
Now we have turned on Podgorная Street, and it's time to have a lunch. I invite you to have it at Borchard's.
Antonius Borchard was a German merchant who came to Viborg from Lübeck and built these ale taps in the 17th century. This historical place is mentioned in wedding songs of 1658. The building, its purpose, and its name all have remained until the present day. The menu boasts a wide assortment of Swedish and European cuisines.
Hello? Hello, what would you recommend me to take from German cuisine?
I can recommend you pork knuckle and famous beer.
Well, I will take the pork knuckle, but I'm not so keen on beer, so I'll take your famous also tinctures.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks a lot. In the Middle Ages, only the rich could afford meat, but here, any kind of meal was served in a large portion. Despite the fact that this dish is enormous, it is actually for two. But still, bon appetit.
The center of Vyborg is rich in historical landmarks, where the medieval spirit is strong and food plentiful. A short walk down Krepostnaya Street from here, there is another establishment famous for its historical cuisine and close cooperation with tour agencies. The tavern is so popular, it is sometimes necessary to wait outside a bit to get in. Naturally, tables can be reserved online beforehand. The food here is cooked along old recipes. There are appetizing starters, rich and stodgy soups, in bread bowls, piglets, ribs, wings.
Thank you. Just as I expected. Honey-spiced cloak complements the atmosphere of a medieval tavern. It is democratic and simple. Everything, the interior, jugs, rough furniture, everything shows how merchants, travelers and villagers gathered here for a meal, and there were no differences between them. Heading up Krepostnaya Street, there is another symbol of the city, and right now we'll be able to hear it.
The clock tower tolls its bell for the townsfolk every hour. It was constructed in the 16th century. The bell was presented to the town by Catherine the Great. The clock mechanism was installed in the 19th century. Today, it serves as a sightseeing platform.
A better view in a clock tower is from Vodny Zastavy Street. Moreover, this street also leads to another cultural heritage object, Burger's house.
The estate consists of an old stone house made of boulders and a carriage house of a later build. It is tangibly dated to the 16th, 17th centuries. This old estate is indeed one of the oldest structures in town, a miniature private stronghold, which used to serve the noble family it belonged to as a siege shelter. In the old days, the ground floor was meant as a warehouse and a workshop. The first floor housed the kitchen and the living room, and the second floor was intended for bedrooms. The windows first were very similar to loopholes, only to be later widened during successive reconstructions.
Nowadays, it is unknown who owned this place and lived here. However, today it is a souvenir court and a fascinating place to buy another symbol of Vyborg, pretzel.
Vyborgsky Krendel has become a true gastronomical brand of the entire Leningrad region. Today in Vyborg, the Krendel is everywhere. In the 15th century, however, the Franciscans held a monopoly over its production and trade. Its recipe was a top secret. Krendel Factory does not merely offer you to try 7 different kinds of this dainty, but also to make one with your own hands. In the course of the masterclass, you will learn its legend and its nuanced baking process.
There is no chance you get a true secret recipe, however, being a part of this workshop is a mystery.
Symbolically, we are concluding our walk through the medieval Vyborg at the market square.
This square became known only in the 19th century. In the Middle Ages, defensive fortifications passed here. Nowadays, only the round tower reminds us of those times.
The stone artillery tower was built in the mid-16th century. At various times, it was used as a warehouse, as storage for explosives, and even as a jail. The official name of the tower was Petrovskaya. However, it did also get a famous nickname of Fat Catherine. Its demolition was scheduled multiple times, and yet, 100 years ago, owing to the efforts of Uno Ulberg, Vyborg's chief architect at the time, the building was converted into a public space, among other things, hosting the meetings of the Technical Club, the assembly of local technology experts.
In the atmosphere of the medieval Vyborg, you can spend time with a tasty meal, share your impressions with friends, and plan new travel routes. And I wish you safe travels.